Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to That Christian Nerd, both YouTube and TikTok, since this
Mhm.
should be streaming to both platforms. Today, I am joined by my friend James. You know James. We've done a bunch of different content together, live streams, videos. Our Monday live stream that we did last Monday is going to be posted today at 7 p.m. So come back to the YouTube channel to check that out. But today's live stream is pretty unique as I have recently gotten over 10,000 subs on YouTube. And I mentioned in that previous Monday live stream that I wanted to do a video or live stream of some sort celebrating that. So here we are. Um, Wow, thank you. To anyone who is watching this, anyone's viewing this who has been along this ride journey with me, it's been wild, and it was completely unexpected. Uh, so I'll talk about it when I play the video. But the video and the reason why I am over 10,000 subs now, uh, kind of happened randomly and out of nowhere. I'm not even sure I was at. Excuse me. I'm not even sure I was at 1,000 subs when I
Mhm.
posted that. I might have been,
Yeah, I
but
think you were, like, on the edge.
yeah, I was pretty close,
Mhm.
if not already there. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely wild. But before we get into all that, a few things that I want to mention to you guys. Firstly, I have a TikTok account, of course, where which has been kind of my home base for content ever since I started making content, and now I have a TikTok shop where you can go and buy products that you like, the products that relate to my content, so that nerdy stuff, Christian stuff, and I earn a little bit of commission for it. So go ahead and get you something nice on the TikTok shop, and help a brother pay for college debt, basically. Uh, um, Secondly, you can also check out my YouTube membership program. So I was finally able to set that up, and basically what that is that you pay a monthly, I believe, a monthly fee to get exclusive perks as a channel member. So I would encourage you to check it out and check out what those are. And again, you can support me in that way as well. Update by way of content. As I mentioned in that Monday TikTok live stream that's going to be posted, I have a bunch of articles coming out. My school papers that I have written last semester, a lot of it being on Second Temple Judaism and stuff like that, is going to get published this summer. I have some articles on things like metamodernism or postmodernism. If you don't know what those terms are, it's totally okay. Those articles will be very helpful to kind of uh, help you understand what those are and how they relate to various different things. And my big article on African American spirituality should be, I'm hoping, published between this month and the end of June. I have some more work to do on it because it did get reviewed by one of my other professors, and they were like, "Here, hey, here's some. This is a great article. Here are a few pointers," and so I want to take those
Mhm.
into account. So that and some other things I am working on. In terms of video content, as I've mentioned, last Monday's live stream, which was exclusively live on TikTok, will be posted to YouTube and Rumble. So you can check that out today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Furthermore, very excited for this video. So this was actually a class project where I had to make a short. It was supposed to be a short video reviewing a book called "Understanding Transgender Identities: Four Views," and it's four Christian perspectives on transgenderism. That video, I decided to turn into content, and so on, I believe it's scheduled for the second day of June or Pride Month. I'm going to post that
Mhm.
video. Uh, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Furthermore, I have a little bit of a secret video that relates to gaming that I hope to publish this month as well. So definitely a lot of stuff to look forward to. Furthermore, next Monday's live stream, I'm hoping to get a former therapist on the live stream to talk about the trauma and relationships. Those are her areas of expertise. So I'm hoping to bring her on, and that'll be a TikTok exclusive live stream, as the Monday live streams usually are. So you will have to go to my TikTok account to check that out live, and then it will be uploaded the following Monday the to YouTube and Rumble. That said, James, do you have any announcements or anything like that by way of your content?
Got a few things coming up. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be filming. I'm not a live stream, but just gonna be filming a collab with one of my good friends. They're on YouTube. Probably gonna be posting clips here on TikTok or and probably Instagram as well. So be sure to check that out. We're gonna be doing it on a rebuttal to a video against the Trinity, so that's gonna be pretty fun. I'm also gonna be trying to post clips just from this live and probably the other ones, so hopefully I can get some interesting stuff out there. Um, be sure to check out my content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X. Post a lot of articles on X, so if you guys want a more written content, be sure to check that out. Uh, that's
I
pretty much it.
I
Oh,
actually didn't know you were posting on X
oh yeah.
or Twitter, as it was
Uh-huh.
formerly called.
Yeah.
Um,
I probably need to advertise that a little bit more, but I
yeah,
normally just post like people's articles, like my articles or yours or um, so
yeah. No, that's totally fair. Um, Yeah, and yeah, so I write for James. So the articles that I mentioned are going to be posted on followstheshepherd.org, and you can check out the link to that in my link tree as well. So, uh, I'm curious to know how this is going to work, but what I wanted to do was play the video that has gotten me to over 10,000 subs on YouTube, and kind of talk about it briefly. I don't know how this is going to look, especially on this portrait view. So, as I mentioned, this is streaming, this should be, hopefully, streaming to TikTok as well. And uh, the the platform, of course, values the vertical streaming and vertical view over the horizontal one, like YouTube does. So the video, the stream should be from a vertical perspective. That said, I have not really messed around with the vertical view much less shared my screen using it. So let's see how this possible train wreck goes.
oh gosh, let's hope not.
So can you see this?
I mean it's on top of you. It's very small though for me.
Okay, interesting. I wonder if I can make this full screen.
Oh, that's
Is
better.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what you're looking at currently is my second largest YouTube short. It has something like 32,000 views. And this was me reacting to a fan made song and video of Plankton from SpongeBob taking over the world, basically. But it's like a rock song, and it's got like horror themes to it. It was pretty dope. But be that as it may, uh, this other video that uh, is now my most viewed video of any platform, like of all time ever, has alone on YouTube 11 million views. Uh, Absolutely insane, but we're gonna play here for your viewing pleasure, and then I'll talk a little bit about it.
I learned that racism is passed
So can you hear that?
Yep, I hear it.
Okay, cool.
down generationally, so it's
Yeah,
internalized, which makes sense. I was
yeah.
walking home, it was late at night, and this black guy walks towards me. and instinctively, I grab my purse, even
Why they
though
go to the black guy?
logically, I know he's not for sale.
Great. Such a good joke.
He did steal my wallet, though. I learned
Yeah, I broke towards the end there. I was genuinely trying not to laugh, and I
Mhm.
just couldn't do it. Um, yeah, so that very short video now has 11 million views. It has 13 over 13 million in total. Uh,
Mhm.
because it blew up first on Instagram, and Matt now has like 2.2 mil there. But yeah, so the analytics on this video is absolutely crazy.
Mhm.
Um, it is like responsible for something like 8,000 subs
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So, excuse me. Absolutely crazy numbers, and I am very thankful. But I posted that during Black History Month, which is why it said BHM down at the bottom there.
Mhm.
So I posted that during Black History Month, and uh, so for months now, it has been accruing views and comments and stuff like that. It's been absolutely amazing. I linked a video under this video, which
Mhm.
is of another video that I posted during Black History Month of me giving a little bit of a critique of Black liberation theology
Mhm.
and some of the stuff there. And so because like this video, which got 11 million views, was linked, had a link to my video on Black
Mhm.
liberation theology. That video also has like 17,000 views now. A lot of likes for that video as well, among and some interesting comments, for sure. But that said, most comments and everything have been positive. People have been laughing. Like, obviously, it's a really funny joke. Um, I thought it was absolutely hilarious, but there have been some critiques. There have been some people, which you'll see in comments on Instagram and the YouTube channel here, that have some interesting takes, and so I would like to respond to a couple of these just because I've been wanting to like respond to some of the critique of the video because I
Mhm.
do think critique is important, and I have accepted it as time has gone on my socials, which you can see. So
Mhm.
I'm curious what other people have to say. And so some people just didn't think this video was funny, and there were a couple comments and a couple dislikes where people were like, "Yeah, this just isn't funny." Either because this just isn't the type of humor that
Mhm.
gets to them, which is totally fine, if that's your conscience and how you do things. But some people thought, um, and I got a number of these comments. To be fair, a minority for sure, but
Mhm.
um, some people didn't think it was ethical to like tell racist jokes and to tell
Mhm.
this type of humor. Um, and I certainly and there's a whole discussion, a whole academic discussion that's
Uh-huh.
gone on about the ethics of jokes and racist jokes, especially, because a lot of them play off of very harmful stereotypes and do these so
Mhm.
things as this video did, right? Because the black person is stealing, of course, in this video,
Uh-huh.
in this joke, right? So those sorts of things happen, but
Uh-huh.
I felt and while that ethical discussion is going on, and I have my own thoughts on that, I felt
Mhm.
comfortable with this video because this one subverts expectations.
Uh-huh.
Because part of the joke is that the white woman has internalized racism,
Mhm.
right? Um, and so uh, I thought that portion of the video could even be educational, and it's a fundamental part of the joke because, like, without it, this joke doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, um, so because she's like in the world of this joke, she's making herself look bad.
Mhm.
I didn't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And I was very confident, say ethically about the video. And to that point, some people have some very
Mhm.
have some very interesting ideas about how racism works. Um, some people uh very much don't like the idea that racism is internalized.
Mhm.
I don't understand why. Um, eh, we know it is. I've known people who have experienced in like internalized racism, homophobia, and so
Mhm.
on. But beyond that, like we kind of see this in psychology because beliefs get internalized just in general.
Mhm.
And so they become like ingrained in your body. And so, if you as a kid, if you are raised with parents who are verbally abusive and they are constantly telling you you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're going to internalize that belief, and that belief will be carried with you and in your body like throughout your life. You could be an adult and married and fully convinced that you're not good enough for your spouse. That's a lie, most likely, probably, but you've internalized that belief, and now it's hard to not, believe that and not behave accordingly. And so in the same way, like, when you have generations that have been told that, in one way or another, black skin is a problem, for example, then you're gonna have black people internalize that. I had a not a black person, but a Latina, uh, person tell me that because of the way she grew up in her culture, like, being white and like a white woman was the ideal for what was beautiful. And so she
Mhm.
internalized that belief and thought of herself as like less beautiful inherently for a while.
Uh-huh.
And so like I some people had some very interesting ideas about how all of that worked. And it was very interesting, but also kind of sad that they felt the need to one say this thing that like racism is internalized, is passed
Uh-huh.
on through generations, which is what internalization is,
Mhm.
or it works some other way. It's not internalized; it's taught or something, um, which isn't true. But like also, uh, people felt like they needed to make like a political statement or a social statement under a video that was just comedic, and I was like, what?
Mhm.
Why? For what? Like, um, another thing too, it was very interesting to see, because you could tell that some people's mind, and obviously it's part of the setup of the joke, right? Racism is internalized. But it was very interesting to see like who uh have people had their political leanings show a bit
Mhm.
through their comments. So I had people, um, uh, you know, comedy has also
Mhm.
become a part of the bipartisan politics that we're experiencing in the US. So, people on the left are going to be like, the right doesn't have funny comedians, right? Or they make videos on social media being like, these conservative comedians suck. And
Mhm.
then you'll find a Matt Walsh video being like, these liberal women comedians suck.
Uh-huh.
So there are sectors that just don't believe that female comedians are funny,
Mhm.
so when they saw that, they're like, "This is the only female comedian that I've laughed at." Um, to be fair, Amy Schumer didn't help things, but that's neither here nor there. Um, and then you'll have some people on the other side, going that this isn't funny, it's true, or something like that. Um,
Uh-huh.
so it was very interesting to see like how the politics currently was like influencing the way that people were commenting. People felt like this was like a return to what comedy used to be,
Uh-huh.
as if we ever stopped joking about race and racism and sexism and these sorts of things, especially racism, and especially in the black community. Um, I mean, Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart will still make these jokes. Um, I it's not that comedy left as a result of the evil liberals trying to make everyone, soft or something like that. Um, you know, uh, there are a lot of liberals who are funny. If you want to listen to people who are more left leaning in the US that are hilarious, and actually a really popular comedy duo. You should check out the Basement Yard. Uh, I get clips of them all the time, but they're like two best friends who have been best friends for like decades, and they have a comedy podcast, and it's absolutely hilarious. And they're like left leaning, like they support BLM, LGBTQ, plus people and persons and stuff like that. But they are very hilarious, and it's great. But
Mhm.
yeah, and so it was just sad to me. Sad to kind of see some of that. There were a couple of things just about like me in the video. Some people said I didn't add anything, which I disagree with
Mhm.
because it's my video and the text in that video that made it a try not to laugh, which I
Yeah.
feel like changes the way that you interact with the video because of what I
Okay.
added to it. Uh, but there is a fair critique here that, and part of the reason why I'm doing this little segment here, and I want because I want to bring this up initially when I uploaded this video, because it's uploaded as a duet on TikTok, it cites like the TikTok
Mhm.
account that you got the video from initially. Um, but that function does not happen on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Mhm.
So when I initially uploaded it, it didn't have any citations in it. So it very much can feel like or look like you're stealing content.
Uh,
And one, just, ethically and as a Christian, I don't want to steal. Um,
yeah.
but it is also important to consider, how to be ethically online with some of those principles in mind.
Mhm.
And I think that's totally fair to say that like you need to cite in some way cite the account or the person that is originally responsible for this clip. So
Mhm.
if I didn't say it before, the name of the female comedian is Christina Mariani. She
Mhm.
has an Instagram account you can go check out. I believe I pinned that name to the top of the Instagram comments and the YouTube comments so people could go and look up her stuff. And
Mhm.
I didn't find this out until later, and I
Mhm.
actually paid attention to the video because one of the guys that's sitting off in the corner that's trying not to laugh to the joke, he was on a WWE wrestling event, and he
Oh, wow.
brought up his show and stuff like that. Yeah, because I think he was doing stuff during WrestleMania. Um, but I think the show or the segment is called Kill Tony,
Mm.
which has and I think part of the reason why the video might have gone viral was because Kill Tony was doing stuff around WrestleMania time, and so videos like that of his show ended up, getting more traction on the
Yeah.
algorithm. That's very possible. But yeah, so you can go check out that stuff if you are interested in that sort of comedy. As far as I can tell, he does very uncensored comedy. If if you can't tell from just that little segment there. But I think that's a fair criticism. I've gotten that criticism in the past, so I do want to actually take the time to
Mhm.
do better at that. Even just add text in the video saying, "Go, check out this person," because it's not fair to the original creator. Uh, um, I'm a little more lenient when it comes to that. If anyone just wanted to the wholesale upload my content, I wouldn't care. Um, but I realize for various different reasons that's not the case for other creators. So definitely something I want to do better at in the future.
Yeah. I think that duets as a whole just bring more attention to the original creator. I think that's kind of something people tend to forget of, someone's gonna watch a video and there's a, try not to laugh challenge. People are gonna see like, I like that, so I'm gonna pay more attention to the original thing. So perhaps that's not being kind of thought about. I mean, at least for me, for example, from these collabs, not a lot of people might not know about me. So people that know about Izzy are gonna come to my content or vice versa, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had that happen. I've had like
Mhm.
atheists will had an atheist like responded to my content at one point, and the people who saw that video on their channel went to my video and started like viewing it and commenting on it.
Mhm.
um yeah, and other stuff has happened like that. But Yeah. So, that said, uh, some very interesting stuff there, but I'm happy to see that the majority of people, found it hilarious and had very positive reactions and very, some people were very hopeful about what comedy can do to
Mhm,
maybe heal racial political divides.
mhm,
And I'm very interested in a project like that as well. Um, I aside from this just being a racist joke during Black History Month, so why not post it? Uh, it's
mhm,
also that I like making people laugh because I think
yeah,
it's a way of loving God and loving neighbor. Uh, so my any comedy videos that I do are ultimately grounded in that ethic. So I'm glad to see that there was a lot of positivity and love in the comment sections for sure. Um, and obviously a lot of support for me and the original creator as
mhm,
well. So all in all, comments were positive and amazing. To transition now, James, if you have any questions for me, you can ask. If anyone is watching and has a question about my content or anything sort of related to that or tangentially related to that, feel free to comment. And I should be able to see comments from both YouTube and TikTok. So feel free to comment and let me know what your question is. But yeah, go ahead and take it, James.
mhm. Well, as we all know, we just recently got a new pope. So, speaking of which, do you have any opinions on him? Do you think he's the Antichrist, as some are claiming, or do you think he's just, a pope?
um, yeah. I was actually gonna make a video on this.
Mhm,
Um, but since you so elegantly brought it up, um, I uh so there's a lot of discussion about
mhm,
the politics of the new pope. A lot of discussion because a lot of people felt like,
mhm,
for various reasons, whether this was a misunderstanding or not, or whether this was genuine or not, people felt like the previous pope was not conservative enough.
mhm,
But it was interesting because there's this article which I can show you here from CBS. So this was what the video was going to be initially, was me showing this article and talking about some of the
uh-huh,
points. Um, but the new pope seems to, in my opinion, have some good views on race. He
uh-huh,
has had some fair, possibly fair criticisms of Trump and JD Vance.
mhm,
Uh, uh, he has a lot of things to say on some other stuff,
yeah,
but he also, as far as I'm aware, supports vaccinations and climate change.
mhm,
Uh, and so that was very interesting. I think, is it this
mhm,
article where the climate change is brought up? It is not. So there was an article talking about it. It might not have been the CBS News article, but
mhm,
um, yeah. And so in my opinion, especially as someone who especially recently has been interested in advocacy and liberation for
uh-huh,
people, minorities in America, and those who are oppressed, as someone who is interested in the union between science and faith, I
mhm,
appreciate that he has spoken out against racism. Hopefully, stuff like that can continue.
mhm,
I appreciate that he has. I appreciate that he has uh, been in support for vaccines and climate change. Because the more anti-intellectual Christians
but
and the
Izzy,
more
you don't understand, the vaccines are the mark of the, beast.
yeah.
Gotcha!
uh, Yeah. Yeah, they're the market of beasts.
Oh,
They
yeah, definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
they have, man, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Um yeah, there's a lot of fear unfortunately around
Mhm,
uh anti-vaxxers. Very sad. Very sad stuff there.
mhm,
But yeah, so I appreciate that he's in support of all of that. Um, I appreciate that he can be someone on the conservative side of things as well, who can support vaccines, support climate
Uh-huh.
change, and critique Trump.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
that's cool.
Uh-huh.
um, like I've seen a lot of atheists who are like, at this point, I'll unite with conservative Christians if
Uh-huh.
they're going to critique the current issues going on. That's not to say I have any political thoughts on Trump or anything like that at the moment. I'm just glad that there are he can be a conservative who will critique Trump, because I've seen a lot of people who are conservative who rally around him,
Mhm.
and you know to speak about his moral character more than his policies or political leaning or something like that. For someone who has um, been SA'd basically,
Mhm.
to see like someone like him who has been convicted of that in office is like really sad. So
Mhm.
um long story short, in terms of his politics, I can appreciate it. I think he'll be good. I don't think he agrees with Pope Francis that he's not going to have women's ordination.
Mhm.
Very interesting stuff there, but he is in keeping with the Catholic tradition on that point.
Uh,
So, you know, I'm not Catholic. I'm gonna let them do what it do, but he is in keeping with the tradition on that point.
so just to clarify,
Um,
we're not gonna see a Izzy Pope in the coming years?
I'm not gonna listen. I'm not. Yeah, we're not about to do all that. Uh, Even just the job of being an archbishop sounds insanely
No,
difficult, much less
literally.
being the pope. God, I would hate to be the pope, because people are gonna come to you with political questions, and
Uh-huh.
like you're the pope, like
Yeah.
I like you have spiritual authority and you look to as a voice, but like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Just
I
because
don't
you're
know.
good with one thing doesn't mean you're gonna be great with everything.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um there's still some things I'm looking for though. Um the the problem of abuse in the Catholic Church.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously documented like crazy. There
Mhm.
are innumerable amount of documentaries on YouTube about the situation. It is pretty bad. Um
Mhm.
I would like to see a pope that will take that head on.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I don't know, I'm also ignorant about a lot of this, to be fair. So I don't know everything that Pope Francis said or did about it. The only thing that I'm aware of is at one point he like blamed the devil for the abuse going on in the Catholic Church. It's
Uh-huh.
like it's not his fault. Um
Yeah,
uh
definitely.
uh so that was the only thing I saw, and that was like several years back. So, but
Mhm.
I'm hoping that that's something the Pope can take on and head on, because like we need to, you know, if you're going to be a conservative, and especially you're going to be like a Catholic conservative, meaning you're going to be pro
Mhm.
life and stuff like that, and you're going to have this whole big thing about protecting kids. Like, please protect the ones like
Yeah,
in
definitely.
your churches, in your parishes, and stuff like that. Yeah, and I talked about this. I did a presentation for my intro to ministry class on archbishops.
Uh-huh.
And in that presentation, I said one of the challenging things for an archbishop right now is the abuse that goes on, because this is a very like hierarchical,
Yeah.
institutionalized position. So a lot of people can abuse and hide their abuse
Yeah.
because they're in such a position of power. So definitely a problem. I hope that this can decrease during his time.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm going to assume that he's traditionally Catholic on other theological viewpoints, and like
Yeah.
I'm Protestant. You're Protestant as well, so we're going to have disagreements there.
Mhm.
But I appreciate his politics, and
Mhm.
I think the position of Pope is a true Christian position
Mhm.
in the church. That might be a hot take, but like the office of Pope, with all of its flaws and
Mhm.
its like I would say unbiblical uh, teachings,
Uh-huh.
is older in its formulation than youth ministry.
Yeah, sure.
Um, and arguably has a more biblical basis. Arguably, um, obviously, there's stuff about teaching kids in Old and New Testament, but there isn't anything that you could point
Mhm.
to that says, "Yeah, this is youth ministry." Um,
You know, I'm starting to hear some Baptists with pitchforks and grabbing flames, like
yeah, yeah. um, and so I love youth ministry. I talked about that obviously in the Monday TikTok live, so I'm not against that at all.
yeah,
But yeah, in terms of just the how old it is and the biblical foundations, at base, the idea of a bishop of Rome, I
yeah,
mean,
mhm,
biblical.
yeah,
So, I think it's a true Christian position. So I'm always excited to see and hear what's going on there. I would love to know also his views on the afterlife because I know Pope Francis has some interesting views
uh-huh,
and caused debates and discourse among Catholics about who is saved and who's going to heaven, who's going to purgatory, and all those sorts
yeah,
of things. I hope that he's someone that can bring some ecumenicism as well. If you can't hear from my language, I'm ecumenical, so I think that Catholics, Protestants, and Orthodox Christians are Christians.
yeah,
Um, or at least these are true Christian churches. Obviously, whether or not every individual is Christian, no,
uh-huh,
but
definitely,
um so I'm hoping that because I think Pope Francis did do some ecumenicism. I think the
yeah,
Martin Luther became sainted because of Pope Francis, if I'm not
oh,
wrong.
really?
If I'm not mistaken, he at least
That's
built
news to me.
I think he's the reason that there's a statue of Martin Luther somewhere.
Really?
I believe so. Again, feel free to fact check me. I am ignorant.
Yeah, that's
Cannot
fair.
say this enough. But yeah. To stop rambling, I have high hopes. So yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that
I just
one?
don't know. I'm kind of ignorant on the whole thing. I'm definitely excited for change, though. Um, I feel like Christianity as a whole, not just Catholicism, really needs some sort of, I guess, punch in the face. It needs to get a lot more active. It needs to get a lot more, with the times a little bit. And we are seeing that this new pope using social media a little bit. Like we have like videos of him with like a little bit more. So I'm hoping that he can kind of, I guess, just steer Catholicism to like a little bit more of a less lukewarm position. Not
Mhm.
saying a lot of Christians or Catholics are lukewarm, but uh, well, I mean, I guess I am saying that, but I'm not saying all of them are. I should say.
Right.
Mhm,
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, there definitely can. I definitely understand that there can be a lot of complacency. I think there can
mhm,
be a lot of yeah. There's definitely complacency among Christendom that could be sorted out. So
mhm.
yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah. So did you have any other spicy questions for me that are gonna get me sent straight to hell?
Well, of course, that's just my body right now. I do got one more because it's another pretty big controversy. So as we know, AI is kind of going crazy right now. Duolingo's being kind of canceled, if you want to use that word. Um, I don't know if you're up with the times on that, but a lot of people are getting mad about Duolingo using AI, saying they're using AI first. So how do you think, as Christians, we should kind of navigate that? Uh, you think AI is also the mark of the devil, just like vaccines, of course?
um, I swear, one of these days, someone's gonna pop into a live stream and hear you say that and think I think that, and I'm gonna get canceled.
Well, yeah. Why else would you have me if not to get you canceled?
um, man, there's a lot to say there.
Oh, definitely.
I think I think in general, if we could just slow down,
Oh, yeah.
because people's ethics are not catching up. And again, this is all in my opinion.
Mhm,
People's ethics are not catching up to technology.
mhm.
It's just not. So, and forgive me for maybe being crude to mentioning this, but like there was a guy who was arrested for he would get sent images from
Mhm.
friends, family members, strangers of kids
Oh,
and would take those images uh and use AI to do certain things with them and then
oh, cool.
send that stuff back to whoever sent in the pictures.
Mhm.
Like that's disgusting,
Yeah, definitely.
but people and they should rightly be in prison for that. But
Mhm.
people our laws and our ethics have not caught up to the technology that's coming out such that
Mhm.
we could adequately discover detect people doing that and do what we have to do there.
Oh,
um or that people who might have people who might have done it otherwise would
mhm.
stop because again our ethics and our laws just aren't caught up. Like I mean on this point,
Uh-huh.
uh I believe the majority age of consent in the United States is still 15.
Mhm.
um so like maybe we could bump that up first before we start you know making AI generated kids. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a whole
yeah.
there's a whole discussion in the psychological field and social media commentary space about whether or not kids should even be in your videos.
Uh-huh.
Because there are huge content creators whose whole big thing was that they're a family, and they do a lot of family oriented content. And
Mhm.
either stuff was discovered about that and it was a whole big scandal, but like it involves the kids now too. Now you have a million people who just saw your kid throw a temper tantrum. Like, is
Yeah.
that fair to the kid? Is that fair to
Mhm.
why? And if you're a viewer, why are you watching that? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
you know imagine the embarrassment. So I
Mhm.
the like we really need to continue these discussions and like come to some sort of social consensus. But I feel like we're making technology so fast that those kinds of conversations that are
Mhm.
happening just aren't keeping up, and that scares me
Yeah,
because I'm very concerned about. Spider-Man said it best, right? With great power comes great responsibility,
definitely.
and I'm concerned that our technology is making us powerful and not responsible.
Mhm.
Um, so I am concerned about that. Um, Another thing, I might not articulate this the best because it has been a while since I saw this video.
Uh-huh.
But I saw this content creator and scholar talk about this AI generation tool, and
Mhm.
it kind of he did some commentary on race in the video and said that this AI generated tool is assuming the race that you want the person or whatever in the video to be, and it's usually a white person. So it's making the assumption that like white people are the norm, or like a norm or normal, um, uh, when generating images of people and stuff.
Oh,
So that was an interesting thing because like going back to what I was just saying about ethics, like our unconscious biases are probably also going to influence the AI we create.
mhm. Definitely.
Um, so we should consider that as well,
Uh-huh.
for sure. Um, Now, all of that said, I love AI.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to make this very clear. Um, uh, uh, Something I did not mention at the top of the hour was that I love playing Dungeons and Dragons. I've talked about this in several different videos and stuff, and I've made my own homebrew world. Uh, and I have a campaign that I'm setting up that James is actually in,
Yeah.
that will be taking place online this summer with some
Mhm.
friends of mine. So I'm very excited. I and my players will use AI for that.
Mhm.
Now, in some circles, in some Dungeons and Dragons D&D spaces, that is frowned upon.
Uh-huh.
People do not always like that, but I do. I
Yeah.
love generating AI images. I think at their best, they can be very hyper realistic, very terrifying if you're trying to generate something that's scary.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I have a lot of like very creepy and terrifying images
Yeah.
as a result of that. And so very awesome, very stylized images.
Mhm.
Chat can come up with phenomenal ideas and help you flesh out ideas. So
Mhm.
I have used it extensively in my in D&D to create my
Mhm.
world. It can see your blind spots sometimes, all that stuff. Furthermore, I use it in my academic work. Well, academic work, schoolwork,
Yeah.
at college. Um, so I use Grammarly to correct my
Oh,
paper.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right. So what I'll do is I'll go to Grammarly, um, do all the corrections that Grammarly thinks I need to do
Mhm.
until I get like a 96 or higher or something on
Mhm.
the paper, and then I'll submit it to the writing center at my school to get it reviewed by a human,
Mhm.
um, by another human,
Yeah.
because obviously AI makes mistakes and stuff. Um, so I've integrated a lot of it.
Mhm.
That said, again, I think it's very dangerous,
Mhm.
and I'm very concerned about people who are interested in having the power of it, but not the responsibility that comes with it.
Uh,
Um, so we gotta do something about that. Here's a fun question: if you generate an AI image, who owns it?
yeah, definitely. 'Cause it's a hard question to ask.
Yeah, because um, a couple of friends of mine like had that discussion, and they were digging around with some research and stuff and concluded that like you don't even own the art that you ask AI to generate.
Yeah.
And that was their conclusion. Take that for what you will, but
Mhm.
that's a fair question. Like,
I
do
think
you own that
yeah.
stuff? And if someone takes your art without the AI art without your permission, can you
Mhm.
do a copyright claim on that?
I think we can
um
say that no one owns it in a way. Like, there was a controversy, like, a few years back where a monkey took a picture of himself with, like, someone's camera, and the person who owned the camera kind of said that, "Well, I own the copyright of this image because it was my camera," but he actually didn't take the picture. So then, like, news about people would, use this, image without copywriting or giving him, um, money for the usage of it. So I think we can kind of correlate that too, as like we as a creator using the AI don't own the image, just as the AI doesn't own the image because it's not like a person, you know.
mhm.
But that would be kind of my idea on it.
Yeah, and related to AI art, like, love art. I'm a try to be a very artistic and creative person.
Yeah.
Um, I want to get back into drawing and stuff like that. I've been trying to motivate myself to do that at some point. But there's also a whole discussion to be had about like if we're gonna have AI art, is that not gonna take away the jobs of the artists,
Hmm.
right? And so a lot of topics, a lot of ethics to explore with all of that. There was a book that was read during one of my professors does a lazy book club, and the book for that was um I forget what it was called, but it was a Christian author discussing transhumanism.
Hmm.
um and he felt the author definitely felt that transhumanism um called for a Christian response. um uh If you don't know, transhumanism is a movement that wants to use science and technology to enhance the human
Mm,
condition. So, like, wants to extend lifespans, increase cognitive abilities. Um, this could be, um, like some of the maybe sci-fi
yeah,
stuff that you've seen, where we're like, let's create a human machine hybrid that can live
yeah,
for hundreds of years, and these sorts of things. Um, So, if you're, like, deep into Christian theology, you might, even just from me saying that, be
mhm,
aware of some potential hesitations there, like, "Well, wait a minute, we view the body as sacred," or at
yeah,
least we should,
yeah, definitely.
and treat the body as sacred, in a way. So, you know, is it, in a sense, problematic or
Mhm,
blasphemous even
yeah.
to, want to be a cyborg? Right, right, um, and those sorts of things, now I don't necessarily have a whole lot of thoughts on that, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying that, like, these are, some discussions going on, and
mhm,
Christians are engaging in these discussions. I just we need to we need to do more.
no,
Uh,
definitely.
um, I mean, I'm even struggling to cite the content creators that I'm duetting,
Yeah,
as I
definitely.
talked about earlier, much less, doing other things with
Mhm,
AI, so,
yeah.
but yeah, do you have any thoughts on any of that?
I mean, I love using it. Like,
Yeah.
kinda like you, have you seen some of my thumbnails? Recently, I've been not using it as much recently, but I will use, AI for my thumbnails just because it's hard to find very specific images that you're trying to look for, and if you do find a really good image, you might it might be someone else's that's not in the public domain, so then you're getting that kind of flack as well. So it's kind of a hard thing. I definitely try to use as many real images as I can, but if there's, not if there's a missing gap, then, I mean, it's not like I can just write or do it myself. Uh,
Yeah. One
you know
of, one of the funniest Google searches I have ever done,
uh-huh,
uh, was, uh, I wanted to so I was, uploading a long form video of Call of Duty gameplay for
uh-huh,
Christmas. And so Call of Duty was, like, all Christmas themed, of course, and people had Santa, and there was, like, a mode where you could, like, throw snowballs at each other, I think.
uh-huh.
Um, by the way, it's on That Christian Nerd channel, go check it out. Um, but there was a point where I looked up Santa with a gun on Google because I wanted a thumbnail for the video. And, like, some of the pictures were fine and good and stuff, but, like, it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. So
Yeah,
I think, for the thumbnail for that video, I used an AI generated image
uh,
of Santa with a gun.
that's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, I think I should be able to find it here real quick.
That would be the
Um,
equivalent of, Arius versus Nicholas in the modern age.
Arius versus Nicholas?
Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, here it is. So I'll share my screen real quick. It is pretty funny, but yeah. Um, I think I just generated the AI image and then put myself over it. But yeah, here it is.
Oh, yeah.
um, but yeah. So um, I used an AI image for my
Uh-huh,
thumbnail for this uh, for the uploading of
mhm,
last Monday's TikTok live stream.
yeah,
So I'll integrate it. But it's one of those things where, like, it's a power and you need to be responsible with it and think
yeah.
about some of those ethical things. So yeah. Um, what was the specific reference that you made when you brought up the question of AI? Because I don't know what you were talking about exactly
Oh,
with the reference.
Duolingo, that whole controversy?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
You don't know? Oh, really? So,
No.
you know what Duolingo is, at least?
Mm-mm.
Really?
I don't.
That's crazy. It's they have a social media account. They're a language learning like organization kind of thing. Like they have like an app, things like that. But they also post a lot on TikTok, and it's very like Gen Z. Like they'll have like the Dual Bird, which is like their mascot, kind of like dance thing like that. But the director of Duolingo recently put out a notice saying that they were going to do AI first. They're going to be like whatever an AI can do, they're going to be removing humans who are doing that. And that kind of
Oh,
went crazy all over the internet. People are, deleting Duolingo and things like that. So I was kind of curious if you had a very big opinion on that.
gotcha, gotcha. Um, yeah, I mean, in in scripture and definitely
Mhm.
in our uh capitalist society, um, we value work. So, and I think that's also part of the biblical ethic, right? Adam and Eve are working in the
Mhm.
garden. They have a ministry because they're priests and
Yeah.
priestesses of creation. Um, so it's probably a bad idea if you're
Uh-huh.
taking jobs from people.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's probably a job to run the AI,
Uh-huh.
or to create it, or to maintenance it, right? So I don't know how much that point is worth, because they might be taking away the human presence, but they're still humans who are
Yeah.
controlling and maintaining the AI. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's actually going to decrease jobs or not.
Uh-huh.
Um, and there is something to be said about corporations are exist to make money,
Yeah.
and so if they don't need you to make that money,
Mhm.
they're not going to if they don't need a human to make their money, they're probably not
Yeah.
going to use a human, which might be good for them in terms of business, but
Mhm.
I think in terms of justice and morals, really sucks,
Yeah.
because we need people to work, I think,
Uh-huh.
both morally but also economically. Um, so my big question at the moment is, if that's taking jobs from people or not. And if this is a platform where you're learning languages,
Uh-huh.
obviously languages are really fundamental to people's culture.
Uh-huh.
So I wonder, if uh, the reduction of human presence is going to be not offensive, but
Yeah.
off-putting for
Uh-huh.
a culture who may be trying to learn a language or something.
Yeah. Definitely.
So those are just questions I have. I have no strong opinions. I This is the first time I'm hearing about it, but those are,
Mhm.
I think some fair questions
Uh-huh.
that I have there.
Fair enough.
Do you have any thoughts on that? You seem to know a little bit more about it than I do. Yeah.
I definitely understand like how the company, it's hard to have a company, so many businesses are going out just because it's hard to get profit in this ever-changing economy. Like I get it. But when it comes to language learning especially, you need that human interaction. I worry how it's gonna go with it. Um, I mean, in the end, someone can do, what they want. If someone really doesn't want to participate with the AI, I get it. But I think it still can be a helpful tool. So, for example, me, I will, ask AI questions about my language learning. Like why do I use do instead of de, or something like that. For example, like in French, or you know what I mean. So it definitely can be helpful as a tool. But I guess that's kind of my best idea there.
Yeah, yeah, that's totally fair. I remember, I so spoilers.
Mhm.
going back to using AI for my D&D campaign, I'm setting up my own like homebrewed handbook
Definitely.
where where the setting of the world
Mhm,
is the Table of Nations in Genesis 10.
mhm,
So, but it's not just humans who are creating nations, of course, it's all these other species like orcs
yeah,
and so on and so forth. Well, there's a species option that I'm messing with right now, called the Ling Shi,
mhm,
and I used AI to figure out like what that term exactly meant because I was confused because if memory serves me correctly again,
yeah,
anyone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Um, because the word that's translated as she, uh, shi, uh, is a I forget the name of the term, but
uh-huh.
it's a word that sounds and spells the same but can mean two different things.
Homologist, it's like something like that, like homologist or
Yeah,
maybe?
it's something like that. It's something. English words
Literally.
not working right now. But yeah, so it's that. So like I was confused as to why like the AI or something was giving it this name when the translation of it into English wasn't going to make sense for the species. But then, it told me that like this is actually kind of a compound word, and she in this case means the other definition to it than what I was initially looking at.
Uh-huh.
Um, so that I mean that was helpful. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
definitely.
That's a very small experience with AI and language,
Mhm,
but it can definitely be helpful. But languages are tied to there's something to be said about languages tied to humans, um, and maybe learning from a human is is a better way of doing it. I don't
mhm.
know though. I wonder if the AI can make like learning language fun.
Uh-huh,
Like one thing that's still ingrained in my brain is to make learning Spanish fun in
uh-huh.
class. Uh my Spanish teacher, my ninth grade Spanish teacher, still remember this. Or was it 10th grade? Probably no, one of those 2. It was one of those 2. I don't think it was 10th grade because 10th grade was the pandemic period.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, not neither here nor there.
Uh-huh.
But to make learning Spanish fun, she played this music video, um, called Chicken Noodle Soup, and it was a video of these music artists, in different languages rapping about chicken noodle soup.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, you can find the video on YouTube. Honestly, in terms of, like, songs to dance to, it's kind of a banger.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm cool.
yeah, but and so, like, I think, one of the artists, like, raps in Japanese,
Uh-huh.
the other one raps in Spanish, so, like, it was pretty cool. And, like, the AI can't do that, you know?
No.
Or if it does, it's like it's this weird uncanny valley thing where you're like, "They look human, but I know they're not, and that's weird."
Yeah.
I get that uncanny valley thing, a few times
Uh-huh.
where, like, it's created some very realistic looking humans. I'm
Yeah.
like, Or, one time I clicked, in ChatGPT, I clicked the microphone or whatever it is, the
Yeah.
to listen to the AI talk, and it sounded like it was voiced by a human, and it
Uh-huh.
was like, "Yeah, I was created," and I asked it about that, and I was like, and it was like, "Yeah, I was created to mimic human sounds. I even like mimic the normal breathing that humans do during their
Yeah.
sentences and stuff. Common human mistakes in languages. I'm also
Mhm.
mimicking. I'm like, oh, uh,
Yeah.
that was kind of creepy
Yeah,
because I was
definitely.
like, I know I'm not listening to a human, but it sounds very human.
Mhm.
You know, um, there was a there was a I know that this was in the news for a little bit too. there was someone who had created like an AI persona of their dead girlfriend,
Oh.
and yeah, was interacting with that for a number of years,
Uh-huh.
I believe. And so like that one kind of hit me just cuz I have a lot of like weird experience with grief.
Yeah.
And so I know like if I was like grieving hard enough or bad enough, you know, AI would probably feel like a solution if it was I felt it was
Mhm.
powerful enough and I had the resources to do something like that.
Yeah.
Um I just don't know if that's, you know, moral or psychologically healthy,
Probably
especially.
not.
Um, but yeah, so
Mhm.
it's definitely a huge can of worms when it comes to AI and those sorts of things. Yeah. Um, did you have any other questions or comments for me?
No, I ran out.
Oh no, you're good. Those were pretty good questions.
Mhm.
Definitely need to clip the sections about the Pope.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
um,
I'm gonna, like, paint,
um,
like, a evil, like, Pope hat on you or something. It's gonna be great.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, so again, 10 subs on YouTube. Insane.
Yeah,
um
definitely.
Especially off of like one video, and one video that, like, to be honest, does not relate to most of my
Yeah.
content. um I just think that's hilarious.
Mhm.
um so honestly though, my hope though is that they will hop onto the other videos,
Definitely.
because obviously, we talk about a lot of different important stuff here. We're talking about faith, we talk about, movies and shows, and
Mhm.
deep meanings, and comedy, and all
Mhm.
sorts of stuff. um so I hope they would go out to those videos as well and hear some of those things.
Mhm.
Um, uh, but yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, James, for joining me for this 10K special. So a few things to remember for everyone. uh Last Monday's Monday TikTok live stream is going to be uploaded to YouTube today at 7 p.m. In
Mhm.
that live stream, I mean, we talked about anime, politics, theology, like we kind of went all over the place. But it was pretty fun. So I would encourage you to check that out when it premieres today at 7 p.m.
Mhm.
Um, Feel free to check out my YouTube membership program where you can get exclusive perks for becoming a member of my YouTube channel. And I would encourage you to check out my TikTok shop where you can go and buy yourself some nice products that relate to the nerdy stuff I do and also the Christian content that I do. I have products there of like wrestling t shirts, have an anime T-shirt there. I have a little water bottle that has Edward from Twilight on it. Um, just because I those movies are horrible, but
Yeah.
they are nostalgic, if nothing else, for me. So, and I just like vampires. So,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely go check out that stuff. I believe I have a Jesus or like a Christian shirt
Uh-huh.
as well, and some other stuff. I can add. I will be adding more to my TikTok store in time,
Mhm.
so feel free to check that out. Keep up to date on my YouTube channel as other videos are going to be coming out this month. June is, of course, Pride Month, so the weekly content that I create, at least I'm hoping at least one video a day will be about LGBTQIA2S plus issues. I have some video ideas for that already that I've written down, and some stuff that I'm going to be doing there. So feel free to definitely stay tuned for that.
Mhm.
And next Monday's live stream, which is going to be exclusively on TikTok, exclusively live on TikTok, and will be uploaded to YouTube and Rumble, is going to be me interviewing a former therapist about her specialties, which are trauma and relationships. Um, I am very interested to especially see like the interplay between trauma and relationships because there's a very strong interplay
Yeah.
there. Um, so very interested to see what that relationship is going to look like. Again, thank you so much for viewing the content, for enjoying it, and um, subscribing and engaging my content in various other ways, even if it's by critique. We are here for critique, even if it's you know evolution is of the devil and created by by evil sorcerers.
Wow. Yeah.
Um so thank you so much for joining me for this
Mhm.
again, James, thank you so much. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we head out?
Um, Nothing too crazy. If you guys want to keep supporting me, we do have a PayPal and Venmo you guys can do. We are really hoping to make more videos in other languages, translating them. Um, we've been doing pretty well our translations, but it is like it is like kind of expensive to do actual human translators. Maybe we could do something with AI, but I don't know how that's gonna go. So we'll see. But thanks for coming, y'all.
Yeah, definitely. Go to my. You can go to. Is there like a link to donate or something on your website?
Yeah, on the bottom of the page, the home
Okay,
page.
yeah.
Mhm.
So in my link tree, there's followstheshepherd.org link where you can go and check out the articles that I've written for James and also donate so he can continue putting translating into other languages. Um, yeah, I feel like, and I mean, this is my fault too, because so I'm critiquing myself here. But definitely fair to say that a lot of um, uh, the English speaking world of Christianity kind of stays in English, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. Which means like
Mhm.
there's like great academic works that like people who speak other languages just can't read now
Right.
because so I admire your willingness to get some of that stuff translated so
Mhm.
um other languages and other cultures can enjoy your content and have be edified right from that. So
Definitely.
yeah, absolutely. So, again, thank you everyone for watching and supporting me. And I hope that you would continue to do so as I make this content to, try to help people, try to make people laugh, try to increase people's knowledge and awareness of things. And also try to, honor God and maybe, just maybe, get out of college debt. So, help your boy out with that too.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, thank you again, everyone, for joining me, and I will see you